So I thought it'd be fun to do a year in review for this video, considering that this is the last day of 2022, which I would argue to be the most transformative year of my life thus far. And just reflecting on everything that has happened this year is absolutely beneficial. Gives me the opportunity to recognize all the growth that I've made and everything. And I'm just really happy with the progress of 2022. It has literally been the most transformative year of my life thus far. Um, Absolutely wild breakthroughs in therapy. I'm not going to get into the logistics of what's going on in my life because, boundaries and everything. But just recognizing that I'm here is so cool. Um, let's talk about healing real quick. To heal is to experience the opposite of what was previously experienced. And what was previously experienced was chaos. It was drama. It was gossip. It was unpredictability. It was the normalization of adrenaline and cortisol, the hormones of stress, on a daily basis. Waking up every single day in fear, in depression. And now, experiencing the opposite of that is actually something that I'm still getting used to because there's a part of me that says, where is it? What's going on here, right? And that part of me is very interesting. It's been very conditioned by the trauma. We seek what is familiar to us. And so what was familiarized to me was chaos. It was drama. It was unpredictability. It was enmeshment. It was all of that stuff. Um, Individuation is something that is a very important part of my healing journey. Individuation is basically the process of differentiating yourself from people, right? Forming a conscious sense of self. And that is a huge part of the journey of healing that I'm on because I grew up, in many regards, codependent. I learned to be the manager of other people's emotions. And it basically led me to living a life where I was not doing the best I could for myself because I wasn't putting myself first. And you can't do the best you can for yourself if you're not putting yourself first. That is just the reality of it. You can't even come close to doing anything beneficial for yourself or other people if you're not putting yourself first. So if anybody ever tells you that you're being selfish for putting yourself first, it's a fucking lie. I'm just gonna lay that out there right now. It's probably also a guilt trip, trying to get you back into a pattern that is not healthy or beneficial for you. Um, but I would argue that a far majority of people are acting from a place of trauma response and just pattern repetition. So it's not, it's nothing to lose sleep over. It's just necessary to recognize what's actually going on there. So this point that I'm at in my life now, I'm seeing everything 100% for what it is. You know, separate of the noise, separate of the anxiousness. Things that used to cause me anxiousness and anxiety and worry and stress. No, no more. I see it all now. I'm not scared like I used to be anymore. But this is also what comes with knowing yourself, introspecting and pulling out the fucking skeletons and the cobwebs and the fucking mold and all that stuff. You know, you have to vomit your insides out. That's what you have to do in order to really productively work through things and see things. Now let's talk about presence. Presence is something that when you are raised in an environment of chaos, you don't really get the opportunity to experience. You don't get to explore life presently. You don't get to explore yourself presently. You are constantly tuning into an environment that is unstable, that is chaotic, you cannot predict, and you learn that that is safety and love, and it's not either. So then, therefore, you are tuning in and programming yourself to seek that. You learn to seek that because that becomes familiar. We seek what is familiar until we realize that what is familiar is unhealthy and dysfunctional, and then we pull away from it. But what's really interesting is that A couple months ago, I believe it was, I experienced something that was very important for me. And I was reaching a threshold of suffering, right? And it just occurred to me that I wasn't being present, and that's why I was suffering. And here's what I've come to learn about presence. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. If you are present with it, you can experience the fullness and the wholeness of life. And that changes the dynamics of everything. Presence is absolutely critical. And getting caught up in your mind is very easy for a lot of people. I've been there before. I know how it feels. When you get caught up in your mind, you separate the mind from the body, and then you disconnect. And then oftentimes dissociate, and you just go off into whatever the fuck the mind takes you into. This is why being present is important. Bringing your awareness back to yourself and regrounding. It's very challenging to do this, especially if you've been pulled out of yourself. And it's likely that people that were raised in an environment of chaos were pulled out of themselves. So I'm speaking on behalf of this from experience. I know what it's like to be pulled out of yourself. But here's to a wonderful 2023. 2022 was wild. Absolutely wild. Grateful for the insights. I'm grateful for the self-realization and actualization. And I'm just ready to watch how 2023 unfolds. It's all about being. It's all about being present. It's all about being you. It's all about bringing your energy back to yourself, your awareness back to yourself, recognizing what it is that you want, you need, putting that first, despite what it is that you've learned growing up, despite what it is that you've been told about yourself, just doing the best that you can for yourself first. That's what it's about. Happy New Year.